Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jano Lieber, acting MTA Chair and CEO. It is really a pleasure to be here on this beautiful day with so many important stakeholders and elected officials who make these projects possible. And we're here to celebrate a huge project, but we're also here to thank those who made it possible. One of the folks who we wanted to thank and acknowledge, who's not here, is Lieutenant Governor Brian Benjamin. He has a good excuse. He's just had a baby. Congratulations, Lieutenant Governor Benjamin. But we do have folks who make a huge difference to the MTA in so many ways. Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins, thank you. My MTA partners, Kathy Rinaldi and Quimel Arroyo. Board members, Rhonda Herman, representing Westchester County, Mike Fleischer, and Randy Glucksman. Is Lisa Daglian with us? No, Lisa's not, but the PCAC is represented, which is our Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee, is well represented by Randy Glucksman. And other great elected officials like Assembly Member Amy Paulin, our Assembly Chair, Westchester County Executive George Latimer, who's been an incredible partner on so many projects. White Plains Mayor Tom Roach, thank you, Mayor. State Senator Shelley Mayer, who is always focused on what we're doing and has been a great partner. And Assembly Member Chris Burdick, thank you so much for being here. All of you have been incredible partners and strong advocates for public transportation, especially Westchester public transportation, and as I will say again and again, we really do appreciate your partnership. Today's a great day for Metro North, for the MTA, and for the city of White Plains and the neighborhoods and areas around it. We're here to celebrate the official reopening of the White Plains station, which, as you can see, has undergone a top-to-bottom renovation. Locals can now enjoy a state-of-the-art transportation hub that's as sleek and modern as it is functional. It has a totally different feel than the old station did. And critically, it remains fully accessible, fully ADA accessible for that incredible portion of our population and our ridership. The Business and Civic Center of Westchester County, I always say this, people don't understand, in any other state, White Plains would be the capital of the business community. It sometimes gets overlooked, but there are a ton of jobs, business activity, dynamism. We need to serve this incredible business center, and this station is emblematic of that commitment. White Plains is also the third largest station in the Metro North network, and that's another top reason why we're here. Now, when COVID hit, this project was underway, but it was unclear whether it could be continued. It was a tough situation, but we got the green light from state government to keep going on projects that were underway. So while we had to pause some projects that were in the new capital program, the projects that were underway, we actually moved more quickly. We took advantage of the fact there was low ridership to get more work done and to deliver what we hope will be a better system for our riders when they come back to transit, as they are quickly. Together with our labor partners, we also did it in a safe way. The MTA was very effective at keeping construction going without having a ton of COVID spread, because we had a lot of protocols and safe work practices that were very effective. We had low rates of COVID spread among our workforce, and we're very proud of that partnership as well. The renovation that we're talking about exemplifies our mission to build back better, as President Biden says, coming out of the pandemic. The way to win back and maintain mass transit ridership is to transform the customer experience so that we're dealing with what customers want and need, not just on the train, but in the experience of waiting for the train and getting on the train. When you look at this station, you'll see a ton of upgraded customer amenities, USB, digital information screens, so we can communicate with our customers in real time. It really transforms the transit experience. It allows customers to be more productive on the go, which further incentivizes the return to mass transit. We're going to need all the riders we can get, and because the economy cannot rebound without strong public transportation. We're making headway now, but we still have a long way to go, and we're going to get there if we keep working together with our partners in government. So it is my great pleasure at this point to turn the podium over to my partner, Kathy Rinaldi, the president of Metro North Railroad.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jano, and thank you for joining us here on this very exciting day for Metro North. The White Plains Station Renewal Project is everything that our Way Ahead program is about. We want to give our customers the best possible experience while they're traveling with us. We want to improve our infrastructure, and we want to increase accessibility. I want to thank the City of White Plains and Westchester County for partnering with us from the very beginning to advance this project, as well as the entire project team for a truly exceptional job well done. So this is where I read some names, and I hope I don't leave anybody out. Kudos to M&R Project Manager Bradley Note, Deputy Director Mukesh Mehta, Ziona Rubin, the Construction Engineer Brooke Clare, Senior Engineer Chris Dugan, from AECOM, Resident Engineer Steve O'Malley, from the Halmar Design Build Team, Project Manager Matt Keefe, and Superintendent John O'Connor. This project's been around for a while, so there are actually a number of retirees who played a real part in this project who are not here with us today. So among those would be John Kennard, Mary Maselli, Walter Berger, Tom Mitchell. I hope I didn't leave any retirees out. They have delivered a modernized, beautiful, beautiful station that's going to serve Metro North and our White Plains customers for years to come. Everything looks fantastic. From the new glass entrances, new wood ceilings, digital signage, the completely remodeled waiting rooms, bathrooms, and concession. The main lobby's been widened and the side and island platforms extended to increase capacity. Our crews installed improved lighting, PA, and HVAC systems throughout the station. There are a number of new amenities, as Jano said, Wi-Fi, cellular connectivity, and USB chargers, plus a stunning new mosaic in the lobby. I want to thank our partners at MTA Arts and Design. And of course, there's a brand new ADA-compliant elevator. This renovated station is the perfect complement to the larger downtown revitalization of White Plains. Whether our riders are Pace University students, workers coming back to the office, or simply waiting for a local connection, they're going to have a comfortable place to sit and get some work done while waiting for their train. This kind of project is exactly what we need as we look to increase ridership to support our region's recovery. Slowly but surely, our riders are coming back. Our latest numbers show that we've recovered roughly 50% of our pre-COVID weekday ridership, which is terrific news, and we're doing everything that we can to keep our momentum going. Our trains are cleaner than ever before, and we're putting more information in the hands of our customers than ever before, thanks to our real-time capacity tracking feature on our MNR Train Time app. More importantly, our service is now back to 82% of pre-COVID levels on weekdays and 100% on the weekends, where our recovery has been the strongest. So I urge all of you to come back, wear your mask. And I'd now like to turn it back over to Jano Lieber. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. Kathy didn't leave anybody out. She's always very thorough, but I did. And that's Norman Brown, who is not only just a member of the MTA board, who represents Metro North workers on our board, and he's a great friend. So thank you, Norman, for being here. You know, New Yorkers know what it means to, it makes a difference when you have Chuck Schumer, when you have the majority leader of the United States Senate. It's been great for New York, and so much of what we've been able to do is because of Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. But Westchester needs to appreciate what you've got. You've got the transportation chair in the Assembly, Amy Paulin, who's here, and you've got the majority leader of the New York State Senate, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who is a huge player in everything that we do. It's my pleasure and privilege to introduce the majority leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins.
Thank you so much, Jano. It is exciting to be here. I just want to thank you. I want to thank Catherine Rinaldi for, we were just talking about the grueling that we gave her so many years ago. I know our colleagues will remember. And she made some promises. and I am here to applaud the MTA and Metro North for keeping those promises right here in White Plains. I also want to, commend my colleagues in the state legislature. Obviously, again, the chair of transportation in the Assembly, Assemblywoman Amy Paulin, and my colleague who I share most of Westchester with, and even the city of White Plains, Shelley Mayer, and of course Chris Burdick is here as well. But the Westchester delegation has been relentless in terms of making sure that we are not forgotten as we are pushing for better transportation options, upgraded stations. And I believe what's happened here is emblematic of what we will continue to push for, not only in this county, but across the entire state. So get ready, we're coming back. I'm sure you're surprised. And fortunately, we have good partners. County Executive George Latimer is here. On every level, we get why it matters that transportation works, that people do have the ability to access the station, and it's ADA compliant. And then when you're waiting, that you're waiting in quarters that are comfortable, that the amenities you need to sometimes do your work, as we know we're doing our work almost 24 hours a day, and to be able to access Wi-Fi and have technological advances in a station like this is really, really important and incredible. So many times, and I will say what you all know, many times we are in the position of having to, with our advocates and everyone else, having to really push to get what we need. We have to push to make sure that the resources, and in this case, obviously, hundreds of millions of dollars in the people's resources come into the MTA. And we want to have accountability. I am happy here to say in this great, beautiful day with this station in the backdrop that this is what your money, our money pays for. We want more of it, but we congratulate you on the accomplishment of this great, great station. So thank you.
Thank you. This station has needed renovation for a very long time. And those of us who served, I think it might only be Tom Roach and I at this point, have served on a committee that was organized by the Department of Transportation many years ago around the Tappan Zee revitalization or change or whatever we call the new bridge. And at that point, we understood that this station not only represented the importance to White Plains residents, but it was regional. Rockland residents, in order to change the traffic flow, would need to come here, and White Plains welcomed them. But we also recognized that it needed to be upgraded. So as part of that report, and now that report is dated, all the players are changed. Joan is now with the county. We took a regional approach to renovating this station. And today we celebrate. We celebrate for everyone. We celebrate for the city of White Plains. We celebrate for the residents of Rockland County. We celebrate for the commuters. And we're hopeful that this renovation will mean that our riders come back, because when they do, the entire system will be much more improved, and we will be able to financially support it. So this is so critical to everyone, and I just want to again thank everyone here. Is going to thank everyone else, but to thank the leadership of the MTA and Metro North for their working with us in White Plains to get this done. And it's just so appreciated. Thank you.
County Executive George Latimer.
Thank you, Jano. I myself have been doing a little tour of the Metro North stations the last month or so. I've seen a few of you at some of those locations. But we owe a great debt of gratitude to MTA and to Metro North Railroad, because as we stand here today, it was less than a month ago that we stood in Mount Vernon on the completion of a major capital project on the 3rd Avenue Bridge. Very important in that community. Within that same time frame, we were in Harrison for the completion of a multi-use project that involved parking, better quality parking for Metro North commuters out of the Harrison station. And just last week, we were in New Rochelle at our new New Rochelle Family Court to get a briefing about the plans for the New Haven line's access to the west side of Manhattan, which will include stations in the East Bronx. This is the 4th time within the space of a month, or shade more than a month, in which the MTA and Metro North has come to this county, and they're doing the same thing in other parts of the region, to show exactly what leadership looks like, exactly what progress looks like. And in this particular facility, just as everybody else has spoken already, as Assemblywoman Paulin has said, and I'm sure Mayor Roach and the members of the City Council will say the same thing as well, how critical this facility is, as critical as the other ones that I've just mentioned are to their communities. And it shows a connection between the authority and the world that we live in, the actual practical realities of things every day. Most people see these authorities, and Amy chairs a committee, or has chaired a committee, that governed it in the State Assembly, as being distant and impossible to influence. And yet we're watching tangible examples of how this state authority has delivered good things for people of Westchester County. Because I will tell you, I did serve in both the Assembly and the Senate before becoming county executive. And I did stand in front of that train station greeting people. And when I did, the sense that people have is, yeah, you're never really going to do this project. It's never going to happen. We don't trust the government. We don't trust the sincerity of the people who say that change is going to come. And that cynicism is deep. It's deep in the American mindset when we debate things and it seems like there's no progress. What happens today not only satisfies the commuter, but it satisfies the zeitgeist of people who don't believe in government, people who will tell you that government is the enemy, government is what's wrong, when in fact no individual is going to be able to, on their own, improve a public facility like this. It takes those of us in a society acting through a government, and in this case through the authorities. And this shows that the state of New York, along with the county of Westchester and the city of White Plains, can be a part of a major capital improvement. And this is the greatest, straightest answer to those people who believe that government doesn't matter, that somehow we should deconstruct it, when in fact government accomplishes an important and a necessary purpose. That's what today means to me, and I think that's exactly what it means to the people that use this facility, whether they're Westchester residents going into the city or the tremendous reverse commute that we have when people are introduced to Westchester County, to the city of White Plains, coming off of the trains at this station, walk through this facility, and realize that they're coming into a place that they can be in and work and hopefully live in and enjoy their time here. Thank you again to MTA and MNR leadership.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tom Roach. I'm very happy mayor of White Plains this morning. When I became mayor, I met with a prominent local citizen who told me, you know what the biggest issue is in White Plains? I said, I can think about 40 of them. And he said, not just White Plains, Westchester County, the White Plains train station. This is supposed to be a gateway. People come here to do business. People come, their impression they receive when they are in the train station is not good, et cetera, et cetera. And I've also, over the years, heard from our commuters complaining about things, particularly the bathrooms. At one point, we're pushing for it. We're asking for it. We have a great working relationship with MTA and Metro North. We work together on the new garage up at the North White train station, which has worked out wonderfully. And so we had all these contacts. We're talking to people. And one day I get a phone call and, you're getting a cosmetic upgrade at White Plains. And I said, great. Does that mean new bathrooms? And no. I think it was $8 million. $8 million doesn't do bathrooms. I said, all right, so, okay. We kept pushing, but didn't expect much. But then one day I got the call, you're getting a full overhaul at White Plains train station. So of course I said, does that mean bathrooms? And they said, not just bathrooms, Grand Central caliber bathrooms. And there was a time that would be a threat, saying that to someone. as a 60-year-old man who went to a lot of rock concerts at Madison Square Garden, my mother always told me, whatever you do, sending 15-year-old into the city to go to Madison Square Garden in 1977. Today's parents probably wouldn't, but there were a lot more of us then, and one day I decided that, well, I'm going to go in the bath, and I was like, my mother was right. I don't believe it. I don't. But this came out beautifully, and I think it is, as the county executive indicated, a testament to cooperation. We have some of those people right here. We have my planning commissioner, Chris Gomez. We have Tom Soik, our deputy commissioner, and we have John Larson, our commissioner of parking. And before you start booing him, because it's a difficult job to have, he does it so well. And the logistics of doing this work on an active rail line when you still had commuters coming in to use the parking lots and garages, which are already at capacity, is incredible. And we had a relationship where everyone had a point of contact on each side, and we worked through things very quickly. And that's why this project got done quickly, safely, and produced the great result it has. I also want to acknowledge I'm joined here today by members of the White Plains Council who have been fully supportive of this and redevelopment of our downtown. And we have with us today Councilman Justin Brash, Councilman John Martin, and Councilwoman Victoria Presser. So I just want to finish up by saying that, I'm a runner, and I run through, my running path I take every morning is through the North White parking lot. So normally I was almost getting hit by cars, and I had to do a little olay as I'm coming through the lot. But then, of course, during COVID, during that dark time, I would go through that lot. There was no cars there. So my survey is that they are coming back because there are a lot of cars there again, not where it was, but certainly coming back. And I think that it's important that we don't lose sight of what has been achieved both with this station and in general. Transit is the lifeblood of our area. So this is a high-cost environment to live in. This is a high-cost place for housing. We work really hard to build affordable housing here, but how else can we save people money? With a robust public transportation system. And if we ever lose sight of that, we're going to lose our greatest asset. Talk about, you mentioned earlier, White Plains getting overlooked. I think people for years overlooked the gem we had in the Hudson, Harlem, and New Haven lines. And then they came to shine, and now we have to get back and work with them and get back on them. So I think that I also want to throw a shout out to Arts Westchester, Janet Langsham, Kathleen Reckler, who were with us when you see this beautiful artwork, the glass that you see here and the artwork that you see as you come in. I can assure you there was no artwork in the old train station. But that was done by a committee, and I was invited to participate. I did not have a vote, but I had friends in high places at Arts Westchester. So in my mind, this is the design I picked, so I'm really happy. I would also say that I get a lot of compliments about the new station and zero complaints, which happens on nothing. Right. Everything there's usually something wrong with everything. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you to our partners at MTA, and thank you to our partners in government. You don't need to remind me how lucky I am to have Andrea Stewart. I know how lucky I am to have Andrea Stewart Cousins, Shelley Mayer, and Amy Paul, and now Chris Burdick representing us up in Albany. So thank you all, and look forward to touring the station.
The MTA's Chief Accessibility Officer, Quimel Arroyo.
Thank you, Jano. Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I want to send a special thank you to County Executive for that vote of confidence and the work that we're doing at the MTA. But a particular thank you to Jano and Kathy for keeping accessibility as a primary focus at the MTA. You heard, my name is Quimel Arroyo, and it is a pleasure. Thank you. It is a pleasure for me to serve as the very first Chief Accessibility Officer here at the MTA. It's great to be here today and to welcome everyone to a revitalized White Plains station. I am proud that a central priority for this renovation was to enhance accessibility. Yes, this station was already accessible prior to this renovation, but as Jano mentioned, in this brand new renovation, we have a brand new elevator, which is included in a slate of upgrades, which you heard, USB, new bathrooms, new accessible bathrooms, new means of communication that are both audible and visual, really responding to all the needs that we see of our ridership. You heard earlier about that, in that vote of confidence that you heard of the work that we're doing at the MTA, I want to stress that embedded there was a message to all our riders. This station is not just beautiful. This station is not just high tech. This station is also hella accessible. And we're sending a message to all our riders that this is what accessibility means. It means providing people independence to come and move around on their own time, to come to school, to come to White Plains for work, and also, dare I say, for tourists to come and visit all the amazing things that are happening here at White Plains. For wheelchair users like myself, seniors with mobility disabilities, parents with children in strollers, and so many others, it can be difficult to get around, but not here at White Plains. And this should serve as a model for all our stations throughout the MTA. We're working hard to further expand system-wide accessibility. It is a top priority for the MTA, reflected by our work last year, where we added over 11 accessible stations across the system during the pandemic. That's as many as had been completed in the entire 7-year period from 2012 to 2018. And we're looking to maintain that pace right through 2021 and beyond. The bottom line is that everyone should be able to use the transit system to take part in New York's recovery. Now more than ever, we need a system that truly serves all New Yorkers and tourists. It is the best way that we can speed our recovery from this pandemic. And if you didn't hear before, we're open for business, so welcome back. You're coming to a new station that's enhanced since you last left. And I also cannot stop before saying a special shout out and thank you to Westchester County Executive George Lattimore and Harriet Lowell, who chairs the Mayor's Advisory Committee for Persons with Disability. Thank you, Harriet, and please ride the train.
So we have so many great partners, and you've heard from many people today, but the members of the legislature who are about to speak are people who work on transportation issues all the time, and I can tell you that when we at the MTA have issues, we always hear from Senator Shelley Mayer. Shelley.
That didn't sound like a compliment, but I take it in a loving way. Is that with my colleagues, we have been pushing for affordable, accessible, and committed public transportation throughout Westchester. And I want to give credit to Jano and to Kathy Rinaldi and to both the MTA and Metro North for following through on a commitment that these services, like this fantastic train station, are going to be the standard we aim for in every place. Because we know the future of not just White Plains and Westchester, but the whole metropolitan region depends on public transit. That is the place of the future. So thank you for your commitment. Yes, we'll continue to be squeaky wheels, but I have to say, for the 18 years I lived in White Plains, I know this bathroom. I'm so happy that this bathroom is fixed. But I'm so happy that people, and those of us who live in Westchester know, not only was White Plains the #1 station in Westchester because of White Plains, everybody came here for the Express, if you remember this, either here or Mount Vernon on the Harlem line. So this was and remains the place to come to get on the train, to go back to the city, or to do the reverse commute, which is extremely important for the future of our community. So thank you, Metro North. Thank you, MTA, for following through on your commitment, and we're committed to this public transit. Thank you.
It's nice to get the last word. My name is Chris Burdick, and together with Amy Paulin, I represent White Plains in the New York State Assembly. And I really want to commend Metro North for, as has been mentioned, for following through on their commitment and doing it throughout the pandemic, and in concert with Tom Roach and his crew, doing it so it was done with the least disruption to those using the station, taking advantage of an opportunity rather than an obstacle by the pandemic. But you know, this is so good on so many levels. And you know, one of the things that we have to recognize is how important it is to get people coming back to the trains, not just for the financial health of the MTA, but for our economy generally. But also, and I'm wearing my hat as a member of the Assembly Environmental Conservation Committee, but helping us to meet our goals under the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, because we have to drive more people to not drive to the city and to get out of their cars, go to the station, and get on the train. And the more that we can make these train stations accessible and something that you want to go to, the more that people are going to use those facilities. I also serve on the Assembly Standing Committee for people with disabilities, so I'm very proud to see what the MTA has done here. And one of the things that we see is accessibility is not simply meeting the letter of the ADA, but it's the right thing to do, and it's also the right thing to do for the economy. So I want to hail the MTA for a great partnership. I can tell you every time that I want to call Mark Mannix or speak to the folks, you are always available for us, and we appreciate that partnership. A great day. Congratulations.
So there was one important elected official, in addition to the Lieutenant Governor, who couldn't be with us today. It was U.S. Congressman Mondaire Jones, who's been a huge supporter of all of our efforts, and he's being represented today by Joan Grangeois-Thomas. So we thank you for joining us. And, lest it be forgotten, the MTA, there was a discussion of how do we get to this amazing artwork. All that work on the MTA side is done by MTA Arts and Design. If you go around New York and you see what's in the subways, when you see what's at the commuter railroad stations here and on Long Island, it's commitment to art that really is unprecedented in the transit industry, and that group is represented by the project director and deputy director of arts and design for us, Yeling Chen, here today. So Yeling, congratulations. I just want to wrap up by thanking everybody for participating. I'm really gratified that we're able to be here together. This project is so important to the MTA, and to have a lineup, the star quality that we had here today, just shows you how important it is and how transformative, making this station the centerpiece of our return to work. Welcome back, New York. Thank you for being here.
Mr. Lieber, can you explain how the pandemic allowed you to speed up the construction and the renovation work here, and what it allowed you to do that perhaps you weren't able to do had the pandemic not happened?
So there are a lot of ways you get construction going. In a railroad environment, some of it depends on being able to get train outages or to redirect trains away from areas where you're working, whereas in this area you have more track than one to work with. In this case, we did take advantage of that. So for example, these platforms are heated, which means that when snow and ice comes, we don't have to salt them. They'll be hopefully automatically made available, so you're automatically melting the snow. And that means not just it's a better condition for the ridership, even when there's a heavy inclement weather, but also that the platform's going to last longer because you're not throwing salt on it 10 times a year, right? So that's, more outages, longer work periods, and we did it throughout the system. This is just one project that benefited from that.
Overall cost of this project? Was it on time?
I'll have to come back to you on that. I just don't have it at the ready.
The cost was $95 million.
What? $95 million, but I'll come to you, Highland.
Hi. Can you tell us a little bit about ridership? We heard some of the numbers. Tell us where we are now in terms of the numbers.
Well, the overall ridership on the MTA system, obviously subways and buses are the biggest part. We were at 55 and 60+% respectively on subways and buses. Metro North is in the mid-40s. The important thing, though, that we're seeing across the system is those are weekday numbers. When we look at the ridership across the entire system, you're seeing something like 70% of pre-COVID. Why? Because where travel is discretionary, as on the weekends and holidays and off-peak, the ridership is much higher. Message, New Yorkers are ready to come back to mass transit, especially in Westchester County, where they were riding around all summer at the 70% level on the weekends. Pretty good stuff.
Other questions? Can you maintain and bring back ridership to the level that you hope to while practicing social distancing on the trains as a rider who comes through this station and uses the Harlem line each week? I've seen the increase in traffic, particularly since September, but there is still a hesitation to fill up the seats, particularly in three individuals. Is that an obstacle in having you get back the ridership levels that you hope to attain?
Well, let's just be honest. We had a COVID pandemic, not an amnesia pandemic, and getting people to sit in the middle seat was a problem before COVID, right? We all know that. But the truth is that what we've already learned from Europe and Asia, where people are going back at much higher rates of mass transit usage, is that with masking and proper safety protocols and what we have in terms of vaccination and everything that's been accomplished in terms of our bringing COVID down, mass transit is not a vector of infection spread. So while we're preserving masking throughout the system, and it's true everywhere, and we're getting 90% plus compliance, there's no absolute guarantee of social distancing, but when you're running 85% of service and you have 40 to 45% of riders, as we do at this moment, there's still a lot of room, and we're comfortable. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.